have this system coming through, and then there's actually more energy that's going to enhance our storms in the south, at least into the southeast, I should say. So there's your another low that develops, and that's going to be tossing moisture tomorrow here into the Carolinas. That kind of moves north and east, but just skirts the coast here, so I don't think it'll be too terrible for us. If you can remember, we still have this last system that's just kind of lingering out there, and this is what we call a synoptic scale system. It's very large. You can see the low pressure, you have the warm fronts, the cold fronts, a very large system, and they typically last, I would say, more than several hours, usually a few days. These are large, coastal storms or ones that go from east to west. That's a really big one. Then when we're talking about our thunderstorms, this is more of a mesoscale system, a much smaller scale, and that can span from tens to hundreds of miles, and the weather can last an hour or two a day. An example would be a squall line that you have coming through, or perhaps a supercell that produces a tornado. So what we have going on in the south is you're going to have the synoptic scale system, the widespread system giving us some gusty winds, and also those thunderstorms. Within those thunderstorms, you'll have some mesoscale winds. So here is that system. There's your new low developing from energy that comes in from the west. That keeps us wet here in the southeast coast. But then as we head into the weekend, we'll see some improving conditions there. The possibility of flooding does exist. It looks like the heaviest rain will be into North Carolina with that 3 to 5 inches. And notice it's Greenville over towards Raleigh. Of course, we've got UNC, Duke. We're both still in it, right? UNC and Duke, Jordan?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
I got to look at my bracket. Yeah, I believe so. Well, the Twin Cities are digging.
See cloud cover, temperatures in the 50s, water temperatures upper 40s into the lower 50s. Winds at the time were gusting less than 5 miles an hour here. And I think the real problem will be not only that search and rescue, because hypothermia can happen, Jordan, in this type of water temperature in an hour or less. So that's something that I'm sure they are aware of.
The fact that it's night doesn't help at all.
These are down in Jackson, Mississippi Metro after a possible tornado. We are tracking severe weather on this Tuesday, the 26th of March. At America's Morning headquarters, city crews have been out in Clinton overnight trying to clear roads ahead of the morning commute. The line of powerful storms with heavy rain is pushing into the southeast now, and the threat is far from over. So let's get right to Jordan to see where we could see more scenes like this later today, Jordan.
I hope not, but yeah, we've got
Jim, right?
We're projecting out, right?
We are going to raise the vibration to sunshine.
Let's do it, please.
Everybody on the whole path here.
I'm feeling the vibration.
There we go. Let's get you out the door. Jim's been so bah humbug about it. Oh, that wind is gnarly there,
That's
of course.
Nasty.
That's up here. Here is Mobile for you, and then this is the Panhandle of Florida, Pensacola, Panama City Beach, up into the state capital. The rest of Florida is looking sunny with our temperatures into the 80s for the day today. But look at those winds. You can see them pretty rough here if you're thinking about going out on a boat. If you haven't ever been on a boat when it's rough like that, your back hurts when you get back in. Jim knows. He just did it not too long ago, I feel like.
Yeah. When I was down in the Keys.
Oh,
but it wasn't bad. That was
the bow of the boat hitting the water. There's like a specific sound that it makes. Anyhow, if you are boating, be careful. Rip currents are high as well. If you're doing any swimming, the same on the west coast and east coast of Florida. And there is our big weather maker that we've been talking about that caused that reported tornado yesterday and some strong gusty winds. Storms into the Panhandle could turn severe as we go through the day today. And notice as we head into tomorrow morning, we'll see some showers there, Gainesville, Jacksonville, and then all of this will not overtake the entire state, but you'll see a better chance of some showers here into Florida. 2 to 3 inches of rain. Here is our Thursday forecast. Temperatures a little bit cooler with some of that cloud cover and rain that's come through for us. Friday, boom, right back to the good stuff here. That is the sunshine and our highs in the upper 70s if you're in South Florida, and the low 70s here if you're in Jax along the first coast. Saturday, Jim, another beautiful one if you will be doing anything outside this weekend.
Yeah, we get
a storm. It stretches from the Midwest all the way down into the south, and that's where we have the rain. That's where we have the storms. That's where we have the moisture, and then we have this next low pressure to develop. The energy from this is still off to our west, and that is going to sweep eastbound and develop this low and keep us wet as we head through really our Thursday, and then it starts to pull on out for us here. This is what you call a synoptic scale system. They're very large. Here's another one that you're looking at. Low pressure. You have fronts. You have cold fronts. You have warm fronts. They usually are the systems that we look at that go coast to coast. They're huge. huge. They can last several days, and a large coastal storm is one example, and that's what we are going to see with this system in the southeast. Then we talk about mesoscale systems. So essentially, this whole system that I first showed you from the south to the Midwest, that is a synoptic scale system. It's massive, low pressure in front. And then within that, you can have mesoscale systems, which are the thunderstorms. And those can span across tens or hundreds of miles, last usually from an hour, sometimes to a day. But an example would be a squall line like we saw yesterday, and we're going to see again today, or maybe a rotating thunderstorm, a supercell, and a tornado. That's more on the mesoscale. So here again, just a refresh, this is synoptic scale, nice and big, and then those thunderstorms that Jim was mentioning, those are going to be on mesoscale. So watch this huge synoptic scale system rotate around, give us those mesoscale thunderstorms, pulls out Thursday evening, but there's the threat Jim was mentioning with the flooding, with some of the heavier downpours, and because we'll have a couple days of it too, 2 to 3 inches there, with 3 to 5 inches perhaps from North Carolina into portions of Virginia, Raleigh. Of course, there's a lot of schools, a lot of good basketball schools here in North Carolina. Duke, you have UNC, both in the dance. NC State's not in it this year, are they? I don't think. But, you know, it's a fun little area here in the Triangle. Raleigh, showers and storms coming in, Fayetteville over towards Greenville, and all of this is not going to end because that next low pressure develops. So, Jordan, it's a couple days of the soggy conditions.
Another big weather
Tuesday edition of America's Morning Headquarters. Rain and storms for the Northeast. Trees are down in Jackson, Mississippi Metro after a possible tornado. We are tracking severe weather on this Tuesday, the 26th of March. America's Morning Headquarters. City crews have been out in Clinton overnight trying to clear the roads ahead of the morning commute. Look at this. I mean, that is a lot. That's not just one little tree to get down there. That's big time right there. A line of powerful storms with heavy rain pushing through the southeast now, and the threat from severe weather is far from over. So, Jordan, where could we see more video like this coming into the network?
I hope we don't see more.
Higher path.
I like it.
Listen, there does look like a high pressure could come in, so we're going to bank on that. All right, we do have the threat for severe weather today. Alabama into Florida. There is lightning that is firing up from Tennessee, Georgia, all the way back still into New Orleans as well. This is our big weather maker. And of course, lightning deaths. The most lightning deaths are riding, hiking, gardening, but look how high water related lightning deaths are. It's a pretty big chunk there. When thunder roars, go indoors. That's always a great. It's on the Gulf of Mexico, and the Gulf of Mexico is usually just still as glass. That might be a little dramatic, but you know what I mean. It is not usually as rough as the East Coast here. And I'll tell you what, the Panhandle is stormy, the peninsula is sunny, and we do have some, winds here, 5, 10, 15 mile an hour type of a wind for us. But if you go in the ocean, watch out for that high rip current risk. They say Michael Phelps can't even outswim a rip current. That's how fast it is. So what you want to do is, if you've got that rip current pulling you out like this, you swim perpendicular to the shore and then you come in. All right, or you swim, I should say, parallel to the shore, and then you come in at a different angle from where the rip current is. So right now, stronger thunderstorms about to go through Mobile. There's more behind that. That's going to make its way to Pensacola, Panama City Beach. That's where we'll have the highest risk for severe weather today. That then is going to become more robust as we get into tomorrow morning. Jacksonville, just north of Tampa, is where you'll see the strongest thunderstorms. And by the way, another wave of low pressure is going to hop onto this and make for a messy Thursday for us here along the southeast coast. Florida, the heaviest showers will be kind of in that Big Bend area up towards southern Georgia. Thursday, notice that this is when our next low pressure develops, and it brings showers from Florida all the way up into the Carolinas, even Virginia. Friday, the sunshine is back. It's quite nice and comfortable here for us. Saturday, loads of sunshine if you are headed to Florida or if you have any outdoor events going on. Last weekend, we did have a lot of heavy rain. Let's see, Friday moving into Saturday. So at least this weekend, Jim, it's nothing but net for us.
Steph, you brought me down memory lane.
Our entire system. Low pressure. This is Winter Storm Sawyer, still bringing snow to the Midwest, and you have a front associated with it. We call this a synoptic scale system. That is a very big, huge system. We are going to get another low pressure develop along this boundary. Again, we're still talking synoptic scale system. They're very large, and they can last for several days. That's going to move up the East Coast. Why are we telling you that? Well, We're going to start off with what these systems are. They're very wide scale. They can cross hundreds of thousands of miles. For example, a large coastal storm. This would be a synoptic scale system. Think about really large in size. Now, what we're seeing within the synoptic scale system are mesoscale systems, and that's on a much smaller scale, and that's when we're dealing with thunderstorms. That's when you're dealing with tornadoes, right? They're a lot smaller. They can last a few hours to a day. They span across tens of hundreds of miles, and you can have a squall line or just a supercell thunderstorm rotating. So within our big synoptic scale system, you're going to have mesoscale systems that could cause some of that localized flooding, that could cause hail, that could cause a tornado. So Wednesday, we have the broad area and then our low pressure. And if you look at the vorticity map, you'll see a piece of energy sweeping across the south and help develop this low that is then going to be riding up the coast, and there's your flood threat that Jim was also alluding to us for here, because we could get 2 to 3 inches. Remember, the south is very swamped. A lot of it could come in a short amount of time. We're going to see repeated storms, and we could see heavier rain here along the coast of Virginia and also into North Carolina, where, of course, in the triangle, you have Duke, you have UNC, both still in the big dance. Do we have any other schools represented, Jordan, that you can think of in North Carolina? I mean, NC State. I don't know if any of these other schools are in it. I think those are the only 2 North Carolina schools. How do you think about it? Someone will tweet us. Someone will tweet us.
No, we're down to, it's the Sweet 16 coming up.
America's Morning headquarters, rain and storms for the Northeast. Then 2 weeks away, we are so excited, and millions will travel to get the perfect view in and around the path of totality.
So as you lock in those travel plans, we're showing you how to ride in style and comfort. Joining us this morning is Daniel Parcher. He's a former NASA engineer and an RV enthusiast extraordinaire. Daniel, thanks for talking to us this morning. What makes traveling by RV for the eclipse different from other modes of transportation, besides you can bring your hotel room with you?
Well, that's the big thing.
Anywhere you want to at any point if you need to move. Now, give me your background at NASA and being an RV enthusiast. What does an RV ride add to the eclipse experience and the viewing of it? I'm thinking you get on top of that puppy and just like lay down and watch it, you know?
There you go.
Yeah, I think you probably could.
Though for the eclipse
Well,
weekend.
You remember they spiked in COVID,
Yeah, they did.
And obviously they're being taken up by bookings considerably here. What if, how much have we seen them come up? How many of these RVs? What's it going to cost you?
Well, we're renting a real.
I have to ask you, how far would you travel if you knew cloud cover was going to your spot that you're planning on right now?
Well,
RV, you can also do that in your car. We slept in cars before for storms and everything.
Yes, we
Daniel
have.
Parcher, former NASA engineer and RV enthusiast, thank you for joining us.
Good luck, Daniel.
Remember, you can watch our special eclipse coverage on April 8th right here on the Weather Channel.
We'll have live coverage all day long across the path of totality, starting with Stephanie in Texas and going all the way up to Chris Warren in Cleveland and through here. So we'll have experts with us. Looking forward to talking to Dr. Bull Sutter.
We will.
All right, it'll be great.
All right, let's go to an expert on dog walking.
Media.
It's going to be in the Panhandle this morning, and we will see this drift east and go through the peninsula, and then another wave of energy kick up even more storms. So enjoy the sunshine today from Jacksonville to Key West for us, and then we're going to see energy push eastbound. For some reason, I am not clicking forward, guys. I think that I might be hung up, or who knows, but such is live TV. There we go. Stretch.
Is that for a living or anything?
Like that?
Yeah,
that's a good stretch.
What's a good stretch?
What's a good stretch if your clicker freezes up?
I thought this was a good stretch. Anyhow.
Good stretch.
Back to the maps here. That was silly humor.
Are you officially now a Pilates instructor?
I can teach mat Pilates officially.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So I'm level 1.
And that's not easy to get there. We should tell everybody that.
Get up to my next certifications there. All right. So here's a look at the winds. And guys, I think you're just going to have to do this. I think my clicker is just gone here. So thank you for that. Clickerless. No clickage happening. We do have rip currents along the East Coast, West Coast, and also up towards Apalachicola and into Pensacola. And remember, even Michael Phelps can't outswim a rip current. There's your rain coming into Mobile Bay, on into Florida, Sunshine, O-Town, down into Lake O. West Palm Beach, you've got the sunshine too, but watch through the day. We could have stronger thunderstorms riding along the I-10 corridor there into northern Florida. We'll see more showers move really into the panhandle as we head into tomorrow with this whole system moving east, and then eventually that next wave of energy coming on in. That will make the showers more abundant and perhaps quite stormy from Jacksonville to just north of the Tampa area. Gainesville, my poor Gators getting knocked out of the big dance in the first round, but that's okay. Still love them. Not a fair weather fan. Still bleed orange and blue. There's your rain Thursday, and we will get a lot of it here along the East Coast, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But your 2 to 3 inches spread from the Big Bend of Florida all the way up into southern Georgia, and we will get heavier rain the more northern we go with this low pressure that's going to be developing. So into our Thursday, we clear out from the state capital westbound, and it's mainly, you know, the peninsula that sees it. But then I got to tell you, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, sun is out. Temperatures are beautifully warm. Look at Jacksonville, even only at 71, but we're right back up around 80 degrees, Jim, as we head into our Saturday and Sunday.
You going to give us a guns out before you leave?